Communities Listen for Nature is a collaborative program between Victoria National Parks Association, Museums Victoria, and communities in Victoria. We've been working together on this citizen science program to collect information on bird populations across Victoria.
Communities Listening for Nature is a really unique and exciting opportunity for the museum to kind of reach out and work with our local community groups to build our understanding of the biological legacy and heritage of Victoria.
We've brought together 5 different communities across Victoria to take part in this program. We've been collecting data at Mount Worth, in Wombat State Forest, Bunyip State Park, the Brisbane Ranges National Park, and throughout the Mount Alexander region.
We've engaged with the local community in a number of ways. Connecting Country, which is a key environmental and land care organisation. They have a very wide reach of landowners and conservationists in the area.
People were very keen to be involved, and they're very keen to be included in this process along the way so that we have the data to see which species are doing better and which species mightn't be doing so well as we move towards, unfortunately, a more drier and a more warmer climate. And then we can identify the threats and work with community into how we can protect some of these habitats that are there, and also enhancing some of the existing areas to join up fragmented landscapes.
The way that we're collecting information about bird populations in Victoria is by using acoustics. And this is an exciting new field of biology where we're able to learn information about animals and their interaction with the environment by documenting and archiving the sounds that they make. One of the exciting things about the field of acoustics and particularly ecoacoustics is that a lot of the technology has recently enabled us to collect lots and lots of data. So we have automated recorders that are weatherproof, and we can leave them out for weeks at a time, sometimes even longer. So we are able to look at long-term patterns, when species arrive, where they are, how they're moving, how they call throughout the day. Those are things that we've never been able to ask before.
It's happened over a couple of years, actually, the whole project, and from when we first got together to think of the possible projects that the song meters could be used for. And then we decided that the nocturnal birds would really address a big gap in our knowledge. And importantly, a couple of the night birds, the barking owl and the powerful owl, are in declining numbers, but there's really not hard data on their numbers.
The barking owl is only incidental sightings in the area, which don't hold a lot of weight scientifically. So surveys matter because when a logging company or a mining company or whatever comes into an area and wants to have an impact on the local forest, then we can turn to surveys and say, well, actually, we've got evidence that there's swift parrots or there's barking owl or powerful owl or whatever the important species is.
So one of the powerful approaches and main aims of the Communities Listening for Nature project is really building the understanding and capacity of not just the museum and VNPA, but also community groups to take up acoustic monitoring on their own and ask the questions that are relevant in their own backyards. One of the key innovations for this field is that we're able to analyze that sound and pull out information about individual species. So one of the things we do is called automated species identification or recognition. And we can start to pinpoint when species are present on sites by building a model of that species' calls and then using that model to scan vast quantities of acoustic data. And then we can start to put together a better picture of where species are found throughout the state.
I was surprised at the number of bird calls and the range, the diversity of them as well. That there was a whole lot more sound going on at another part of the property than what I was already hearing. Birds don't take notice of boundaries. They don't know there's a fence there. It's immaterial. And so it's not sufficient that we as one single landholder take care of the habitat. It's very, very useful, but it's not sufficient. We need much larger, healthier tracts of habitat in order to really protect our species for the future, both our habitat and our birds.
A local farming community can gain value from this project, learning about the wildlife that's on their farm, as it can be difficult to care about something that you don't know exists or that you don't understand. We're still new to this country. We're still learning about our soils and about our landscape, so we're looking at ways to do things better.
For me, sound is a really good way of getting people engaged. Sound comes and it goes. We have difficulty describing sounds, but emotionally, we connect with what we hear. As somebody speaks, you can hear the spirit, their life spirit in their voice, and it's the same in nature. If you listen to an animal calling, you can hear its presence. It engages you emotionally, but it also engages you intellectually to be curious and to develop a sense of fascination about what you're hearing.
And that's really what the power of acoustics can do. We've really sort of expanded the level of understanding of acoustics and how it can help us better understand wildlife, not just from a research perspective, but from a community engagement perspective. So how can someone in their own backyard learn more about the animals that they have there when they're not out there? And without the generous financial support of the Helen Macpherson Smith Trust, we wouldn't have gotten the Communities Listening for Nature program off the ground.
By working with Museums Victoria on this program, we've been able to move away from traditional methods of recording bird populations into this new realm where we can collect a lot more data in a short period of time using a lot less effort. And in the future, this is going to be a fantastic way to monitor bird conservation across the state. And it's something that we can involve a lot of communities members in. So it's a really exciting partnership.